Good evening, everyone. Happy Halloween. Hope you're having fun. Welcome to the third edition of this little Anytime notebook. I'm just about getting used to it. We're going to rattle through all of the selections this week. Well done if you sat through 10 minutes of me rambling on last week. That's far too long. If you did manage to sit through it, then you are a better person than me. Just reflecting on last week then, we couldn't find a goal score, but hopefully plenty of clues. What have I got here? Looking at Morecambe, a decent fixture for Accrington because they always give you a chance. Those are actual words that came out of my mouth last week. Hopefully you took the hint and backed a positive Accrington side in that Lancashire derby. Well done, James Beattie, for getting a second win in a week just there. We talked of Oxford as well, saying that Dave Kitson out of that side wasn't necessarily a bad thing. If Chris Wilder's listening, believe me, I don't think it's a bad thing. They went and won at Wimbledon. York, pretty much the talking horse, I think, of this column over the last few weeks. We said they're full of goals. They were at home to Scunthorpe in midweek. They scored 4. A goal for Josh Carson, who I mentioned over the last couple of weeks. Hopefully you're on. I wasn't. And hopefully I did enough to put you off Rochdale as well, because they went down at Dagenham despite being top of the league. Looking ahead to this week then, a fantastic coupon this week. I'm really excited. As excited as someone could get about a coupon. If you are not looking at this weekend's coupon, particularly in League 1 and 2, and thinking this is the weekend that we cop the lot, then you're probably doing this betting wrong. Plenty of vulnerable short teams at home. Let's look through some of them. We'll start off in League 2. If you listen to the There's No Turning Back podcast, which I contribute to every week, you should do, because it's a really decent podcast full of useful opinion from people to go and watch those games. I'm keen on Exeter this week. They're at Portsmouth. They're going to be a big price, around the 3-1 mark. If you're prepared to look at Portsmouth recent form and say, yeah, it's not quite as good, there's a few bad performances, which I am, then Exeter could be a good price with their away record. A good friend of mine on Twitter, Matty Cook, he is a firm believer in backing managers, and this is a good example. It's a match bet between Paul Tisdale, Guy Whittingham. You get 3-1 if you think Paul Tisdale can get the job done, which I think he can. Elsewhere in League 2 then, that free scoring York side that I've just talked about, who pose all sorts of problems down the wings, they head to the Cheltenham side, who we talked about last week, who have got no width and didn't look to be doing a good job, particularly when I saw them against Rochdale, against people coming down the wing. York are going to go off a big price. You can make every case for York going to Cheltenham and winning this weekend, and if you fancy doing that, then they'll go off at a decent price as well. What about Dagenham? Only lost once since August, scored 25 goals in those 11 games. They head to Hartlepool, who are much improved from their early season form where they couldn't score a goal. Conceded just 3 in the last month, but a really good game this one between two good sides. I definitely kind of Dagenham think they might last the distance this year. Got some options up front, but again, two good sides, and you're getting a price of over. I think about 3-1 if you think Wayne Burnett's men can get the job done. If we look up into League 1, they're more of the same. Quite sweet on Carlisle's chances under Graham Kavanagh. Hopefully their good form can continue. They head to Gillingham. What about Swindon? They could be another short price at home, playing decent football, but perhaps a couple of defeats on the bounce. Perhaps Mark Cooper doing a bit too much tinkering with home and away form. Darren Ward was coming in for a bit of stick in the week. Port Vale head there. They've had 2 wins on the trot. Typical classic Mickey Adams last couple of weeks, bringing Tom Pope off the bench, throwing a bit of a curveball in there for their opposing teams. Again, Port Vale already won away this season. They go to Swindon full of confidence. Another big price if you think that they can get the job done there, about 4-1. Other teams then, I'm reading off these quite quick, but other teams in League 1, everyone's going to tell you this weekend, don't overreact to Nigel Clough's first weekend in charge at Sheffield United. I say it's come at probably a good time he's taken over. Sean Miller's just about to get fit, I think. Marlon King's working his way back to full match fitness. I say let's overreact as much as we want. I think that's a pretty decent price, around 13-8 for them to go and win at Shrewsbury this weekend. So that could be a good bet. What about Carl Robinson? MK Dons, 2 defeats on the bounce for them. They welcome a Walsall side who won at Wolves, won at Swindon, got a point at Orient, won the last 2 visits to Stadium NK as well. My friend on Twitter, Matt Vale, he's going to be very happy. He's a big Walsall fan if Walsall win this weekend, and they're 3-1 to pile more misery on Carl Robinson, and who can argue with that? A short price team to not get on the wrong side of is probably Coventry. We're a short price to beat Notts County, playing ever so well. Good times, probably coming back to the city of Coventry. Not as good as the mid-90s when we sent QPR down. If you want to know more about that, just tweet Mark O'Hare. He loves talking about QPR and how much he hates Coventry. So you ask him that. But don't get on the wrong side of Coventry this weekend. You know what? You could probably even make a case for Stephen. He's going to Wolves as well and winning a huge price, but I've said more than enough complimentary things about Graham Wesley this weekend, so I will stop there. So if we're trying to find a goal scorer in all of those, then if we continue the theme of opposing home favourites, how about Rotherham without a win in 4, conceding 9 in the process? They're going to be without Craig Morgan as well in the centre of defence this weekend. He picks up his 5th yellow card in the defeat to Leyton Orient last week. They host Colchester. Joe Dunn's doing a really good job here. I talked earlier in the season in various other previews that I did. I think that front line, Jabba Abiri, Sanchez Watt, Gavin Massey, Freddie Sears, if he had them all fit at the same time, I think they could sneak one of the teams that sneak into one of those last playoff spots. I think they're a really decent side with some good experience at this level. But Joe Dunn's had to do without those 4 for the majority of the last couple of months. They've done well just to stay in contention. But I think last weekend's win at Peterborough was, just reward for the work that he's doing. If you take one player out of that win against Peterborough, it's going to be Craig Eastman, who not got a great record. Don't look online and try and pick out some value in terms of his goal scoring record, but regularly got ahead of the front 2 last week, hit the bar, tested the keeper from a couple of positions as well. If you think that Rotherham are going to be slightly weaker down the middle, then I think Eastman could get on the end of a few chances. He's going to go off at a big price, about 9-1 with Paddy Power. Second of all, then down into League 2, we talked great length last week, so I'm not going to do it again about Torquay's defensive frailties. Not going to go over them again. You all know about those. They head to Bury. Ronnie Jepson's doing a really good job there, justifying the decision by the Bury board to put him in charge until January. So good to see him doing well. They've put in some good performance recently, even if results haven't reflected it. I look at the 2 starting 11s and I refuse to not believe that Tom Sawes is the best player on the park. Recently moved inside to cover Tommy Miller, who's out injured. Late runs into the box, loitering on the edge of the box at set pieces, loves the shot. These are hallmarks of prolific anytime goal scorers. I think the 3-1 is a good price. That's with Paddy Power. Both of those prices are with Paddy Power. If you put those 2 together, you get a 40-1 double, which isn't a bad way to spend a weekend. Hopefully you're going to be lucky this weekend. I'll see you on the other side, and hopefully I'll speak to you next week.